or if you want to share it with colleagues. Some new people joining. Okay. Okay, everyone, this should be pretty straightforward. It won't take very long. Feel free to interrupt with any questions you might have, whether it's about the portal or if it's non-portal related. I'm happy to stay on the line at the end and address any questions about anything sim related or otherwise. So we have, actually I should introduce myself just in case you haven't seen me in person. My name is Brian Badolf-Krentar. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer at SchoolSims. We also have another SchoolSims employee. He's a newer employee, Brent Colson. He's going to be a point of contact from a support and client experience perspective. He'll probably be sending some emails to see how things are going with the portal and how things are going with the simulations in general throughout the year. So hopefully you guys can see my screen here. So why did we develop a new SchoolSims portal? As most of you are aware, we had to manage, and you had to manage, simulation links for each sim, passwords. Every time we sent out a new or created a new simulation, we had to manage that, and you had to manage that. And this prevents all of that. It allows one login, access to all of the simulations that you have access to. As we have a new simulation created, it will automatically be added to your portal. We'll let you know that that happens. But it'll all be seamless. And in addition, you can report about simulation usage now inside of our portal. So you can see what simulations are being used, who's using them. And we're happy to build that report library as we learn more about what your needs may be. Just real quick, if you don't mind, in the chat feature, could you just type in a couple of the pains that you were feeling that led you to purchase our simulations or some type of problem you're trying to solve? I'm just curious for my own tracking purposes, being a little bit newer with the company, what the reason is for you utilizing simulations. And I'll just pause for a minute.
Brian.
Yes.
This is Susan Hawley. I'm from Texas A&M University. And one of our major interests in SchoolSims is that so many of our students who are in their principal practicum are facing school closures and lots of students and lots of meetings and things going virtually. So we're really struggling for them to get good experiences to log in their time logs for their requirements for practicum. So that's one of our major motivations.
Okay, yeah, that's something we hear over and over again. Thank you. Okay, great. I appreciate that information. So let's go ahead and get started here. So to access SchoolSims now, it's very simple. You'll just go to schoolsims.com and go into the login option all the way over to the right. You all should have received an email with your password, a temporary password. If you didn't, I encourage you to check your junk email folder. And if it's not in there, you can always click login and use the forgot password option. Or if by some chance I missed setting you up, just shoot me an email and I'll make sure you have access. Hopefully I was able to provide access to everyone, but there may be some people on the line right now who didn't respond to my question about who is an admin user, and this presentation today will help you understand more about what that means. So feel free to send me anyone additional after this who needs to be set up, and I'm happy to do that. Happy to get those people set up. I just put the chat here. Okay. All right. So once you log in, the first screen that you will see is right here, and it's the main screen. It's our dashboard, and you'll be able to see how many simulations you have access to, as well as some information about the usage of the simulations, who's been using them, what simulations are most popular, And again, if you have a need for more reporting, we're happy to get those set up. It's very easy for us to do. We just need to know what is of interest to you. The types of users that we have is really pretty simple and straightforward. Basically, we have the administrator user. Any administrator needs to be set up in our portal. That would be anyone who is facilitating a simulation, who is distributing a simulation, meaning providing access to a simulation to someone who is participating or playing the simulation asynchronously. So someone who's in control of the simulations.
Sorry, Brian.
Yep.
So by administrator, you mean faculty member or instructor, really?
That's correct in your case. That's correct. Yeah. So we have a mix of higher education institutions and districts. So I'm trying to be a little bit more generic, but yes, faculty members for higher education, okay. Professors, absolutely. Yep.
I misunderstood that question because administrator sounds more like going to handle financial arrangements or something like that. And also, could you, do you recall, did you use like a standard subject line for the email when you sent the things? I'm trying to find that so I can log in and look at this while you describe it.
Yes. So I don't know the subject line, but I can tell you it's from no reply at leadershipsims.com. And if you can't find it, I can go back and see what the subject line will be once I'm done presenting this. So I'm happy to help you there. So yeah, that's why it's important to delineate what types of users we have here. There's typically some type of confusion about what a true administrator is. And really, it's just anyone who needs access to the portal. And then a participant would be someone who attends a PD session or is a student in a college class, for example, or someone you want to play this simulation asynchronously. That would be a participant. And they don't need to be set up in the portal. I'll show you how those people receive access. The next screen you get to by navigating the left side of the portal here is user management. There's really not much to do here for you. All this shows you is anyone who is an administrative user for your account. So if for some reason, let's say you have a new professor and you want to see if that person has access, you can look here. You can't add people yourself. You just need to email us and let us know and we'll get them set up. We will reach out to you periodically just to make sure that we have the right people and to let you know about new simulations, as I said. So, feel free to reply to those emails with that information. But if you need somebody set up immediately, you can always just email me or Brent and I'll copy him on the email after the session, which will have, the email will have this instructional guide as well as the link to the recording. This is really where you'll spend most of your time, and that's in sim management. So if you want to provide access to a simulation or simulations via the portal, you would simply click on the red icon under action, and you would go ahead and start to send that. Sorry, I have a chat here. Let's check out that real quick. Okay. So you'll click on the red icon to send the email, and you'll be able to send one or more Sims to one or more people. And I'll show you what that looks like on the next screen here. So here's the screen that you'll come to, and I'll walk through this at the end in the portal. You'll go ahead and enter the simulation that you want, and it's just by clicking the simulation or simulations in that top box. And then the email addresses, you'll just comma separate the email addresses. So for example, if this is a professional development session in a district, you can just copy and paste your email addresses for the participants for that session or that cohort and paste it in here and comma separate it. If it's a class that you're teaching as a professor, you could do the same, take your student roster and enter it here. And I'll talk a little bit more about the learning management system opportunity as well in a minute. Then in this second box here or third box, you can type the body of your email that those people will receive. And the email will look a little bit like this. They'll receive one or more links to simulations, and each simulation will have a unique URL that each participant can go to. And that's how we track the information. It's not important for you to know that. It's just if you want to know how we know who's watching simulations, that's how we know.
So sorry, each student has a unique URL, and then the name that we enter, their email is what's linked to that URL, and
That's
then
correct.
that's what shows up in the they have completed it.
That is correct. Yep.
Okay.
So the email that you enter has a unique URL assigned to it, and that's how we know. So we don't need to set up name and any other information. You just enter that email as you're providing access, and that's done. Now, if you want to put the simulation links inside of a learning management system, such as Canvas, you can send yourself a link just like this and copy and paste that link in to your learning management system. The downside of that, the only downside of that is you can't track each participant's usage of it. However, you'll know how many times that sim was used and accessed. So a lot of our university clients do put the links inside of the LMS and make it easier for the students to access. And that's perfectly fine. There's just that small downside of you not being able to tell what students are actually accessing the sim. However, a lot of times those students will be asked to submit a feedback report so that you can tell that way if someone has completed the sim or some type of project. Once the participant clicks that link, they'll be taken right to the simulation. They can preview the simulation here. They can view any resources that are associated with that simulation, such as a facilitator guide or the simulation overview, and then they can simply click play the sim. And they can go in and out of that simulation as often as they want. That link will work until access is removed, and I'll go over why you would remove access and how later. So that link will work forever, basically. We do still have 4 flash sims. However, we're trying our best to get those inside of the portal by the end of this week or early next week. They're almost done. We're just doing some final cleanup and QA. Until that time, there's a link at the bottom of the view simulation screen right here, which you can click, and you can access those 4 simulations here with these passwords. And again, I'll send this out today. However, we really hope that these sims are done as close to the end of this week as possible. We're super close with that. And then reporting, you can go ahead and run any reports that we have. If you find that there's a report that you'd like, as I said earlier, just go ahead and let us know, and we're happy to get that set up. And then link management, I mentioned that each student has a unique URL. If you ever want to see if you ever need to resend that URL, you can do that through here. You can remove access. I don't have a reason why you would do that today. We do some cleanup on our end for colleges and universities if a student is no longer participating or have a need for that sim. However, that's not something that's important and isn't something you really need to worry about. If you don't want to send the link from here, you can always go back to sim management and resend the link. It's okay if they have 2 URLs. It doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. And then roles to identify. So there was already some confusion about what an administrator is. So I just wanted to point out one more time, if there are additional people at your account that need access, feel free to send me that information and I'll get them set up by the end of today. If you try to log in and you didn't receive the email or forgot password doesn't work, it probably means I missed setting you up. Just shoot me an email, reply to the email when I send out this presentation, and we'll get you set up. So just bear with me real quick here. I'm going to go into the portal real quick and just show you live how we do some of the things I went over, and then I'm happy to take any questions. So as I mentioned, you could simply go to login here and enter your information. You can use the forgot password if you don't have that password in either your email or your junk folder. I mentioned the dashboard. User management is just a way for you to see what administrative users have access at your account. SIMS management is important. This is where you will send participants access to the simulations. So for example, if I wanted to send the school safety email out or simulation out, I would click on the link here. And in the email, I could see the simulations that I've selected here. If I made a mistake, I can click the X, or I can add others. Maybe I want to send 4 for this class. This type is for your own tracking only. If you wanted to state whether it was an asynchronous sim or facilitated sim, you can do that. That's up to you. And then you simply type in email addresses, comma separated. Okay. And then you type the email that you want. And then you have a preview of what it looks like. And this is what the person will receive. And then they will be able to access any of these simulations by clicking the links when they receive the email from noreply@leadershipsims.com. And the one piece left is view simulations. This is where you will go if you yourself as an administrator want to play a simulation, or if you're facilitating a simulation via Zoom or in person, you will click on view simulations. Please note that you can filter the simulations. We have about 30 something right now, and we're adding the 4 flash sims plus about another 4 or 5 by the end of January, new sims that are coming out. So you could filter on stakeholder, the inside of the sim, the protagonist, the standards, and that'll limit your search. But if you want to go ahead and play that sim, you would just click view details. You would have access to your facilitator guide right here, the sim overview, and then you can simply play the sim.
So Brian,
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm just joining late from A&M here. The link had some issues, but I guess I'm confused with the originally the website that we had was edsimspd.com, and we had a master password, and then so are we on a different website, or?
Yeah, it's completely different. So what I'll do is I'll send out the presentation and the recording of this since you're jumping in late. But basically you go to schoolsims.com now, that's our new name, and you click the login option, and that'll take you into the portal.
Okay, so then do our old passwords work? Because we had the old contract was from April 2020 through March 31st, 2023. And then, so is that password still active, or do we?
The old site will work until August, but we are going to decommission that site over the summer. So you can determine for yourself what the best and this goes for anyone, what your best transition point is. However, you should consider that this is the training for the portal, and we do encourage you to move forward with this. There's benefits that I mentioned up front to using the portal, such as not having to worry about those individual links and passwords for each simulation. And also we add new simulations periodically. In fact, there's more coming out at the end of January. If you are using the portal, you don't have to worry about the new passwords. You don't have to worry about finding out what those simulations are. They're automatically added to the portal.
Okay, so then as far as our access, though, that's what I'm worried about. Who do I contact if we have login? Will our old login work on the new portal then?
It won't work on the new portal. You should. I frankly don't know if you were somebody that I set up, but I'll go ahead and check. But if you did not receive an email with access to the portal, then I'll have to get you set up. So what I'm going to do is reply or send an email after this meeting to anyone who's on with the presentation and the recording of the session. And if you're not set up, simply reply to that and I'll get you set up today. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Sounds good. Thank you.
And we have other sessions coming out. So if you find the recording's not enough, this isn't the only one. We're going to be offering these sessions monthly until probably May. So you can always jump on later if now is not the right time to transition. Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions? Any other questions? Okay. So as I said, I'll send out this presentation and I'll send out the recording. Don't hesitate to reach out to myself and Brent if you have any questions. Again, we'll be offering additional sessions on a monthly basis, probably about 2 or 3 sessions a month between now and May, as I said. So highly encourage you to make the transition as soon as you can due to the benefits in the portal. But our old access method will work. Just be aware that you may not get, you may not see or have the password for those new simulations without reaching out and replying to the emails that we send when we send an email and say, hey, there's these new simulations. If you're in the portal, great. If you're still on the EdSims PD page, you'll need to get passwords for each of those simulations. So,
Brian, I did think of a question. I just didn't get to my mute button fast enough.
No problem.
The question is about the little reports that are generated for students at the end of a simulation. Is that what report management link at left, reports management, is that what that generates? Like if you want to see in one place, because that's one of the things called, which I encourage you to add, is you don't know how students did, only they do. And if they forget to click on the report at the end of their time doing the simulation, then their progress or their experience is lost to them. There's no artifact that's generated except this experience. And
yeah, so unfortunately, with any simulations that have been built in the past, they use a tool that wasn't owned by us. It's a partner tool called Track Builder, and we can't capture those reports. It's one and done. And the reason for that was because the vision from Ken was to really keep the system anonymous so that people felt free to enter any information, even purposefully play the sim by choosing the worst options just to feel those consequences and experience the blowback. So right now, we don't have a way to do that, but we do have our own system that we build sims in now. So any new ones going forward, you'll be able to better capture the feedback post simulation. So you're right. What most of our clients are doing is having those students save those feedback reports or scorecards off as a PDF when they're done. But if a student forgets, unfortunately, it's lost. So.
And what's the new system? Is the new system going to accumulate those then? Or
it does. It saves all responses inside of our database. So thinking about the future of reporting, we'll be able to include in reports management access to those responses. And we can still make them anonymous. We don't have to show who responded. We can show that, but if that anonymity is a concern, we can keep that separate. So for example, we have some schools that are interested in the research side of things, and we would want to probably de-identify that information. So, but we could do it either way.
Yeah, I'd be happy to talk with you about if you're looking for user input.
Sure, absolutely. Okay. So I have one more chat here. Just make sure I answer everybody's questions. Okay, I think. Okay, it looks like I got to all the questions. If nobody has anything else, I'll go ahead and close the session out and wait for the recording to process, and I'll get it sent out here in the next hour or so. Again, if you receive my email and you don't have access for some reason or you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out, and we will have more of these sessions throughout the next couple of months. So don't hesitate to join more than once. Okay.
Thank you
All right,
very
everyone.
much.
Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
You too. Good to see everyone.
Bye-bye.